Welcome to Jonny Arkade and Msjoro. Msjoro and Johnny's. We haven't figured it out yet, but we're gonna figure it out. Yes.
All right.
Yes. I don't know. So
we've been yakking all this time. We press record and then we're going.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's all right. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Organically.
Okay.
I did get these Oracle cards. I don't know if they're Oracle cards or what kind of cards they are, but I intuitively bought them at the. We could talk about how I manifested the crystal store out the outlet center just the other day. I'm getting new shoes. I'm not even really financially in a place to just like be buying clothes, but I really need a new shoe. So I went to New Balance at the outlet, got some new kicks, feeling all good. Had me Wetzel's pretzels, sat down, just trying to enjoy the moment. Was a little pissed because I got the jalapeno pepperoni pretzel and there was like literally one jalapeno on there. And I'm like, it's okay, you know, trying to waft in the jalapeno essence from the rest of the pretzel and then watching the onlookers. But anyways, I'm walking by, I've got what I need. I'm ready to kind of go. I did walk into Claire's. A masculine dude walked into Claire's because having Claire's is,
I don't know half the retailers you're talking about.
Claire's is where like you go in your preteens to like girls usually to get like unicorn earrings and
oh, okay, yeah, like
people have like a little pizza slice or something. Like you got that
like
at
Klein's. Klein's jewelry store in Australia. Yep.
So me being from, you know, the 80s, I have one ear pierced and it's hard to find masculine studs, you know, and
not with the big holes in it.
No, I don't. I'm not down with that. Like I it's cool. Like
is it? I was gonna say something, but then I'll get really.
I don't mind like having bigger gauges. Like
what's that about? What is it?
The gauge set. So
what's with the big holes?
I don't know. I don't judge.
I'm a Generation Xer. I don't understand that shit.
I think it's a style thing. Some people, I don't know if it's like tattoos. Like once you go a certain gauge, you can't go back. But I've seen some gnarly ones, and
it doesn't grow back.
I know, yeah, and I don't mind when they're in, but when people have them like loosely out, it's like we don't want to see that, man. Like get a rubber band or something, or just put them.
Is it because they get hooked up? I'm trying to
work. The employer's like, you can't have those rings. You're like, all right, dude, fine.
Is it a kink thing, or is it just a fashionable thing?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't really know anyone personally that has them. Not my thing. But I mean, I know people who've had large gauges. Or like I like when they've got like a decent size gauge and they have those, but they're not like a ring. It's more like a silver tab on jeans. Like that's kind of hot. I think that's kind of hot. But anything more than that, you put a regular earring, it falls out. Like, no, I ain't down with that. That's kind of weird. But no, I have a stud. When I was 18,
you didn't go the George Michael both ears?
No. Left is right is wrong. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. No, but it's 18 at the mall, Hot Topic, free piercing.
It's funny what you just said is in reverse nowadays, but anyway, that's another story.
I was like, sign me up. They're like, yo, you'll be in and out. Boom. I picked a stud. I think you paid for the stud and everything was free. They gave you the ointment and stuff. And I was stoked. And I was like, this is kind of cool. And so yeah, I always try to find fun ones. I try to find Marvel or like Punisher or whatever, but I've been without since my recent escapades. I misplaced it, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna go into Claire's, which is so funny. Every time I've never gone in there by myself, is why I was bringing it up. Usually I'm with the girlfriend or whatever, and it's like I don't mind going in there because I'm like, yeah, looking at the earrings, and everyone's always like, I'm always like, man, you guys need to expand your masculine section, you know, like some crosses and yin yang and moon. Guys will buy that shit, but you know, don't make it all glittery and sparkly. Yeah. And but I always find some gems or whoever I'm with, I'm like, hey, you want to go in on this? It's like a 30 pairs of earrings. I just want the one stud, you know, the black ball or whatever. And no, I found these. It's like a stone, like it's like a little bling, but it's black.
Yeah.
Right up my alley. I was like, hell, it wasn't too gaudy of a size. And so I've shopped in Claire's, and it tripped out those girls that were in there. I could tell. I was like looking through all the stuff, you know, it's like lip gloss and stuff in there everywhere. The place is pink, for crying out loud. I come out of there with my earring, and I go around, and so I see this like fragrance shop, right? Like this candle store. And I'm looking in, and I'm like, okay, I wonder if they've got, you know, crystals or something in there. Huge fan of crystals. And I was like, no, I'm like looking through the window, and there's like one person in there. Like, oh, it looks like just some bougie candle store. And I'm like, man, at that point, I'm like, man, it'd be cool if they had a crystal store here. Do they have a crystal store here? And I've been in this outlet mall like a bunch of times. I'm pretty familiar with the stores. And I'm like, no, I don't think they do. Man, I wish they had a crystal store here. That would be cool. And like, I could go for another tarot deck or something, you know, like that would be, no, they don't have that here. And I'm walking around the corner, literally as I'm thinking.
Sorry, how many do you own? How many tarot decks do you own?
Just the one, Wild Unknown.
Still young.
Yeah, I'm a virgin on that. This is my first right here.
Very
and I bought it myself. I hear you're supposed to
always your favorite, right?
Them from as gifts, but I couldn't help myself. I was drawn to that deck, even though the review was like not for beginners. I was like, sounds like it's the one for me, because that's how I do it the wrong way. But no, I'm walking down the outlet mall. I'm pretty familiar with what stores are there, and I see this sign, and it's like clandestine or celestial. I forget what it's called, but the C had like these amethyst crystals on the logo, and I'm like, shut up. And I'm like walking up, I'm like, there's no way. And then I walk up and you see the window, and I'm looking in, and they've got some pendulums and crystals, and I'm like, what is this? And I look in, and it's like this freaking crystal store. And I'm like, get right out of town, right? And so I walk in, and this girl's like, welcome to our shop. This is her first day open. And I'm like, shut up. Like, I straight manifest. Like, I don't even know if these people are real in here, because I just manifested them out of ashes and dust. And I like talking to them, like, what's going on? You know, walk me through it. And they're like, you know, if something isn't price tagged, let us know. Everything should be price tagged. And they're all freaking out because they're still kind of putting it together. And I'm just tripping out. Like, they had some nice stuff in there, and I'm like, this is like right by my pad. Like, what are the chances of this? I was just saying, like, I want a crystal store because I want a tarot deck. So I'm like walking around, right? And they had this one table with like 5 little like mini decks. And one of them was the Wild Unknown, like a little mini one with the book and everything. And I was like, oh, it's so dope. It's like, I wanted to get it just because I love that deck so much. And I was like, no, like, if I'm going to get another deck, I want to use multiple decks. And I was like, but that is cool though. Like, I could just throw that in the backpack, have it with me. And I was like, it was only like $15. I should have got it anyways. But I was like, no, like, I'm going to expand my collection. So I got these.
Hang on. It was only $15
for the mini
okay.
Wild Unknown.
Yeah.
This was $15 too. This was, and this I'm saying, I don't know if it's Oracle cards. It just
Oracle.
says
that's Oracle. If it doesn't have the
it doesn't. Yeah. So even if it's just like love and peace, and I resonated with it, and it's crazy. I've only pulled these like a card or two from these like 5-6 times.
I think the affirmation cards. I think
they're like, my fearless freedom lights up the world.
Yeah, this is the affirmation cards. They're like the universe got your back deck.
Okay.
That I have. Yeah.
That's
all right. No, you could still use it as an oracle.
Yeah, I got it as because I couldn't tell. All the other boxes had like pictures of some of the artwork on the cards, and that's a huge thing for me. Like, I'm not just gonna get a deck to get a deck. Like, as an artist, the artwork is like probably the main reason why I would choose a deck. Or like that one's themed, you know, the Wild Unknown. So it's like nature and animals, and that's where a lot of my journey has been kind of pulling me towards. And when I go there, it's amazing. So it was like a natural choice out of like, I was looking at all kinds of decks and that like stood out. The artwork was dope. It was like kind of similar to my kind of artwork that I would turn in high school, just like pen, you know what I mean? And then it's like amazing, but it's like, because I wasn't trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you
But
walked into that, when you walked into, because I always do this, when I walk into any crystal store or spiritual store, you get an energy. When you walked in there, did you have any energy from them?
Well, like I said, first of all, I felt like I just entered the womb of my own manifestation. So it was like, hello, my people. What are you doing?
That's powerful. Must be the new paint.
It was one of those times where it was just right place, right time.
Wow. Yeah.
Affirmation, confirmation, synchronicity, literally a building, not a sign, not a number on the clock, an actual facility, synchronizing my universe at that moment in time. And so I was literally like, I'm supposed to meet these people. So I was like, tell me more about it. And I'm talking with the owner, and she's showing me certain rocks and crystals that I wasn't aware of. I ended up leaving with like this $20 little moon that and that's the thing, like the crystals I bought are all been like from Sedona or whatever. And they come with like what they do and their attributes. And she was like telling me about it, but then I got home and I'm like, what's this called again? And what does it do? But I got it because it just looks like a moon, and it's just the way they made this rock look. But it's like
feminine. That's a divine feminine rock.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. And I've got selenite, which I feel like is light, and so I was like, I need the opposite, the moon. And but no, this particular rock, the reason why I got it, because she had other versions of the rock. She had it in pillars all glossed up, but I got the moon because this particular rock, when you put a black light on it, shows like this neon orange that you don't see without it. And then on the pillars, it's like, it's all glassed out, so it looks all holographic. And I was just like, what? Like, and that's my whole thing is like, what's hidden in plain sight, right? So I was like, I got to get this. Now I need to go get a dope little black flashlight, like scorpion light, which you can get out here all over the place. But or bust out my old school. I have like from the 90s, from all my black light posters, the old school that's like still wrapped up, that I haven't busted out since I was living alone.
Hang on. There's a cultural thing again. What's the black light thing you're talking about?
You don't know what a black light is?
No.
Like, you ever been to a club where they have like the purple bulb in the light and it makes everything fluorescent?
Yeah, and shines your teeth and everything.
Yes.
Infrared, isn't that? Sorry, infra. Yeah.
Well, it's photoluminescent.
Yeah. I remember that. And you feel like you had your dandruff, and you just sort of like.
Yeah, you're like, oh god, exactly. You're like, I should have wore a white shirt or something.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly that. So back in the 90s, I'd have the Bob Marley, the Wu-Tang, the pot leaf posters that just, when you turn on the black light, and I always had it on in the room, and the lava lamps and you got Pink Floyd, The Wall playing,
oh my god, yeah.
That was Johnny's house. Like, let's go to John's. I was the guy that would be like 4 a.m, and you could hit me up, and like, it wouldn't, if I was sleeping, I was sleeping, but there's also a good chance that I'd be chilling, and you could roll over and we could play some GTA and poof and hang out random 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, sometimes, not all the time, but if there was someone to call, you just put out the bat signal, and it was like, John's down to kick it. And I'm a good shoulder to lean on.
Do you do tarot spreads, or do you just flick out a card and read it?
I change it up, but it is kind of cool because the book does come with like certain spreads, and then I've learned from I right now, when I pull a reading, I do it like Tarot by Janine, where it's like, and I literally pull it out the way she does. I used to do it myself, and either way, I think it still intuitively pulls what I'm supposed to pull, but I try to have it with the structure. So I do kind of still pull like Tarot by Janine, but I do more on top of that.
Sorry, does she do the Celtic cross, or does she do left?
I think that's what it is. She starts out with like a left to right card, then she goes to the top, middle, bottom,
So,
the bottom.
Okay.
But the way she reads it is like the top card is past, present, future. And these cards are like accompanying cards. So I do that for the original layout, but then I'll pull the bottom card to accompany the top card, and then I follow up with that with 2 cards on each row, and then one more final card to end the reading, close the reading. Whenever I put the cards away, I do like one more card, usually just the bottom card as I'm putting it away, or I'll do a top and bottom card. I'll do like this past, present, future. And it doesn't always come out as past, present, future, but like that's the way I'll pull it. And then I call it a pyramid, but I'll do the 3 and then I'll stack 2 on that and then 1 on top of that.
Yeah.
And sometimes, depending on if it's still kind of open-ended, 1 more to close it. And it seems to like, I do the zodiacs, but I don't know it well enough to be like, oh, this card and this card. And oh yeah, I'm getting this. Like,
that's full on. Yeah, no, I used to do the, certain spreads in the past, like, when I was starting out. But now I just, like I said, I'm messy. I just, whatever drops and whatever resonates with me.
I love it. I love it.
And I try to do the left to right, past and present, and copy through other readers who clarify, like they use another deck to clarify that. And then, and then
if you're pulling out the same card in different decks on the same thing, like, you're going to argue with the universe,
But I've noticed
right now is how I look at it.
I noticed recently I don't tend to pull out as many cards as I used to. Like I seem to just pull out one card and I'll go, I could tell the whole backstory. Was, when I was learning, I had to clarify and re-clarify, making sure I was in the right spot. But one thing I can't do is the pendulum. Like
I want to do
that. Younger, I was able to do pendulum. I can't do it. It will just stay completely still. Maybe because I'm focusing on it too much.
Aren't you supposed to like twist it or wind it first, and then it gets going, and then it's supposed to automatically start swaying? Because I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet. That's like my next thing. And I was at a point where I almost bought one, but then I realized, because I want a crystal one, and they have them out of every crystal, and I'm like,
I was told, hang on, who said it? A few people said keep it wood, or keep it like a natural organic thing, either wood or metal, but not crystal, because the crystal will influence whatever energy the crystal has. Right.
Well, that's why I wanted to get it with a certain crystal, depending on its intentions or its focus. So that way, if I'm doing that pendulum and it's for healing or it's for happiness, and like that's what I'm pendulumizing on, you know what I mean? That's why I didn't just hastily buy one, but that's a good idea. Wood, it almost makes me want to use, like I have a solid wooden rosary. It almost makes me want to just intuitively, like, why do that just came into my possession in the last
rosary
2 weeks.
Is a pendulum. Oh my God.
I know, exactly, which is what makes me want, because I know my intentions are good. You know what I mean? So it's not, that's the thing, is like, that would be the immediate response of 99.99% of the people in the world, I feel like. And they're like, whoa, this will, like, I'm not gonna like light it on fire after or anything. Like, no, I'm gonna bless it, kiss it, probably fucking wear it.
Well, if Madonna, I remember when I was wearing Madonna's, when she started wearing the crucifix earring back in the day, and I did that, and my auntie completely freaked out that I was wearing it like an earring.
Yeah, because it's like, that's the thing. Is it out of pride? Is it out of, blasphemy? Is it upside down in your ear? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are your intentions? Like, my whole thing is like, it's not materialism, but like, obviously I'm influenced by a lot of things. I'm wearing a freaking Transformers t-shirt. Like, it's one thing to idolize it and become so attached to it that you feel like you need it to complete yourself or feel whole or whatever. But if it's something that interests you, how is watching a cartoon or owning the toy and playing with it, which Transformers, by the way, it's like a puzzle and a toy at the same time. How is it any different than a desk puzzle that helps your mind, right? And now, how is that any different than getting lost in a fun story? And what if some people like horror, or some people like love stories? If it's not your bag, don't read the book, but 100%. There are people that like it, whether it's about vampires drinking blood and whatnot, or if it's about, 2 people falling in love, and like, how is it any different? Um,
Right.
and it's like you're a hypocrite if you judge those people.
Yeah.
It's not about tolerance and
Mm.
tolerating their behavior. It's about accepting who they are and what they enjoy.
Mm.
Now, if they take it too far and it becomes a problem, an addiction, it affects the way they do things and their quality of life, then yeah, it can be an issue. That can be with anything, food, faith, church, even good stuff. Too much of it, too much exercise, too much sun. You know what I mean? Like the sun is good. We need it. You could get roasted if you don't protect yourself,
This
cancer.
every time that reminds me of, did you used to watch SpongeBob SquarePants?
No, I was like, it came after a certain age, and then
I watched it as an adult.
The content of that and the promoting homosexuality, and I'm not saying that I stand for that. Or there's all kinds of stuff. There's like episodes where SpongeBob's license plate is the longitude, latitude coordinates of Epstein Island. Like stuff like that. It's like, again, what are their intentions? Are they trying to wake people up, or are they
Shit. I didn't even say
yes.
who
But I think it's funny. Like, as long as you're aware of it and you know it's there, and you
now
don't
I'm traumatized. I can't watch SpongeBob the same way. Thank you for that.
It didn't affect you because you see past it. Like for some people, they see the Coke bottle in the split section and it triggers them and they want a Coke. You're like, cool, Coke commercial. I just want to watch SpongeBob,
Well, the point was I was saying about SpongeBob when he was trying to get into that tanning club, but he was too pale or too yellow. And then he roasted. Have you seen that episode? And he was in there.
No, but
he was in the sun for too long because his friend forgot that he was in that solarium thing. And he came out, his skin completely peeled and he was pure white. And he had the best bleached because he was so ruined by the sun.
Right.
He became number one in that club. That's what it reminded me of. So when you get to a certain point, then you get
for, and it might not be what you expected, but he was still on top.
And there was another episode. Was it Keanu Reeves? I can't remember who the big kahuna. They went to learn how to surf, and there was this big kahuna. You gotta watch. I'll send you those 2 episodes. They're funny. Yeah.
I'll watch it. I'll totally watch it.
And they're trying to learn, and the big kahuna would say some really wise shit, and they're like, "Whoa!" Like it's so meaningful, and it's just rubbish. But anyway, all right, okay. Now I'm scarred. I can't watch.
No, don't be. See that's the thing. I feel like my purpose on this planet is to point out those awkward things, because it's like I do want to take my kids to Disneyland and not worry about like Satan sneaking in because of fucking Snow White. Like you go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, you're going into hell. Like the temperature literally raises when you're in the hell section. Like, wake up, parents. Like, just acknowledge it's there. And you took a trip on the Wild Ride, and you're on on a trip to nowhere or whatever. Yeah. Like,
hang on. How about Epcot Center? Is that any good? Or because I loved it. I went to Epcot Center when I was a teenager, and I thought it was the best thing. Is that a problem?
No, I've always heard it was whack. I have never been there, and I hate myself for never having been there. And
deprived child.
I lived in California, so it's like fly across the country and go into the giant golf ball, and then a bigger version of what was copied from here, or go here, and so it was always Disneyland or Magic Mountain or Knott's Berry Farm, usually Disney or Magic Mountain. I love roller coasters, but I've been dying to go to Disney World and Epcot my whole life. Like back when I remember the advertisement when they had, what was that puppeteer guy used to have, like, his big show there, and then the Land of Tomorrow. Like I've always wanted to see all that. Like it's absolutely incredible. And I bet if I went there now, I'd be like, damn, this stuff is all here now. And back then it was turn of the century. So now it's like old and is there anything new? Smart city stuff. But no, it's always fascinated me. The future, Back to the Future.
Yeah. We did talk about Elizabeth Shue earlier on, and
yes, Back to the Future is like huge part of my
every
life.
guy had a crush on Elizabeth Shue.
Yes,
every guy.
yes,
that I
she's
knew.
all the golden movies of my childhood, and she's absolutely gorgeous. And if you're listening to this, Elizabeth Shue, I love you forever.
So I loved. Yeah, we're talking about Cobra Kai earlier, and so did you watch it when she came back into the show?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Again, I feel like I probably cried. Like,
oh my god, when she accepted the friendship on Facebook, I go, holy shit.
And you know, exactly, yes. So the thing about that freaking show, man, is I don't know, like it pisses me off and makes me so happy at the same time. It's like I try to watch it with Hunter, and it's like too much to watch it with him, because it is that they do cross that filthy line, and then part of me is kind of happy that they do, and it's like, damn it, John, like my little angels are like, you like it, don't you? And it's like, no, you shouldn't. And it's like, and then it's like, I'm so against the whole, you know, like boo-hoo, poor villain, and then villainizing what we all believe to be the hero. And then, you know, I hate that, but at the same time, it's like, it's true, because thinking that this whole time I was Daniel's son and Miyagi-Do, go Miyagi-Do, and then it's like I'm more Johnny than I thought. And then it's like, no, I am Daniel, damn it. But then it's like Daniel's a douchebag, and it's like, I'm not a douchebag, like, you know. And it's like
he was like, when Karate Kid first came out, was it 83? I can't remember.
Because the ego, he was like, because the ego went to his head. But yes, go ahead.
Like watching it, you know, looking back on the Karate Kid, I'm not talking about the Will Shitty Smith version, right? I'm talking about
I feel you. That has its place. Again, a perfect example of why they're trying to Mandela affect their lives with this bull. Why would you ruin it? Go ahead.
All right. So
have a black Karate Kid with a different Asian instructor, but go ahead.
So you know, and looking back on that, I go, Ralph was he was a little shit. He was a little shit. He would be the type of kid that goes to your school and he'd just be in your face, and he'd be so freaking annoying. No wonder not saying anything about everything's wrong about bullying, but you know what I mean?
He's the stranger in a new town. That's never.
He's like, oh yeah, and he keeps on stuffing up left, right, and center, thinking he's the bee's knees. And his poor mum, right?
Were we watching this Karate Kid? Huh? I saw the humble Easta. What is it? He's from Jersey, going out to California. He's literally like complete change of culture for this dude. Doesn't even want to go. He's freaking the hood. He's making the best out of it. And thank goodness, right off, people always like forget about that guy that when he first comes in and karate kicks the door open, knocks that he like it, welcomed him in, helped him with this bike, invited him to a party at the beach. That's where he met Elizabeth Shue. And it was the welcoming love of the people in the new neighborhood welcoming him in, and he was so humble, like just happy to have someone inviting him, and then he was just minding his own. Everyone else is like, hey dude, that chick's eyeballing you, and they didn't say, hey dude, her boyfriend's fucking crazy, he's gonna kick your ass. You know, it was like, no, like you should go talk to her.
Sorry, she wasn't even in his league or her league.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
That's the
like
whole thing.
That reality check. Sorry, rebound boy, as a rebound boy, but not nah.
Well, that's the thing. It was a total Aladdin, Prince and the Pauper story.
Aladdin. Don't mention about Aladdin. That's another one.
Prince Ali. You know what I mean? He's the humble street rat, and she's.
Are we talking about the actors, or are we talking about the animation Aladdin?
I'm talking about, again, this is a problem of mine. I see the parallels in these stories because it's the same but different. That's an actual term. Blake Schneider. If you do writing and film, the beat sheet, it's Blake Schneider's beats. Everyone in Hollywood, anyone who's decent at writing knows the people who pay the big money, they want the same but different. They want the same but different. That's why Back to the Future is so genius. all those scenes where he's like 1985 and he wakes up and then they do it again in the next one as a callback, like the McFly Ranch, you know, it's like you're in on the joke. You know what I mean? You're in on the joke. We want the same, the Austin Powers when they do all the, look, sir, it looks like a giant Johnson, come here, you know, and then it shows a big Wang, what are you doing over there? You know, and then the rocket or whatever looks like a giant penis. Like,
you know what? I don't know. Austin Powers is really funny, but it's still not kid appropriate. Like,
not at all.
And I'm like, oh, dang it. Because there's a lot of funny bits that
gotta wait,
enjoy, but
I know that's like, it's hard. Like, I can't watch the new He-Man with my son because like within the first 3 minutes, He-Man like gets stabbed and dies, and you're like, oh no, yeah, let's put on the 80s one. Yeah, that's better. I'll watch this when you're with mom.
Yeah.
Because this is a daddy show, but it's a cartoon, and I'm like, this is rad, like popcorn, like, and it's about like afterlife and revelations, and I'm like, man, what the frick?
Yeah, no, I tell you in reverse. So the new Wonder Woman, right? So my kids have watched the Wonder Woman, the movie. I said, oh, you got to watch the series. So I was somehow, I YouTubed it and found some old Wonder Woman stuff, and I'm going, whoa, adult themes. There's stuff in there that's a bit. Okay, don't worry. But yeah, watch the movie. It's like, it's funny because I don't know if did you watch what's his name? Tintin. You know the movie? Oh shit, what was the name of the movie? Tintin, the movie.
Or what is it? Something in Tintin, right?
Yeah, when he's on, and then people were upset because the captain was drunk and they had guns. Have you seen that one?
The animated, but it was like
Pixar or.
I went to Comic-Con when Steven Spielberg was talking about the technology they used to shoot that. So that real actors and everything were doing those scenes, and they had this technology where they had like an iPad with like, it was almost like Xbox Connect technology that detected their bodies and stuff. And they just had the computer graphic guys do Tintin. And then when they record them, it automatically, like a Snapchat filter, you know, goes over their bodies. So they're just literally that's why it looks so dope. And that was like a new technology in that movie. That was a very good.
And it's funny because, you know, especially the older generation grew up with Tintin and they loved it. The boys loved that comic book. And then in the movie, it was, people didn't like it because it had adult themes, like he was the guy was a drunk.
For people our age who watched then.
Yeah. But then the kids used to read that stuff too, about the captain being drunk. Like, I mean, the closest we had was Captain Jack Sparrow being a drunk, right? But
well, dude, Bugs Bunny would literally get shot in the face with shotgun, and with a dude that's smoking a fat stogie. But it's like, is that why I smoke? No, I smoke because my parents smoked in the house growing up, and I always wanted to smoke. And then when I was able to smoke, I smoked, and I liked it. You know, it's not like because Bugs Bunny was like, "What's that, Doc?" You know, it wasn't that at all. And it's reality. Like, again.
So what about the new Disney cartoons? I think they're like the new versions.
That's the thing. It won't show a character smoking, but they'll sneak in freaking demonic shit. Like, that's 10 times more. I'd rather have Pinocchio going to the island of sin and hell and love and lust than you know, some subliminal shit you're teaching my kids, you know, in a falsified story promoting homosexuality or something, you know, like, not that that's bad, but if, like, again, what are the intentions? So it's like, why go there? It's like the racism thing, you know, by sitting there fighting against it, you're giving it power. Not that you should ignore it, acknowledge that it's there. And then what are you doing to improve it? Besides pissing off other people that agree with you. All lives matter, you know? I don't understand why that's so hard to conceptualize. Like, we are one, you know, unless you're not, then pigeonhole yourself, you know, quit pigeonholing everybody.
That's the thing when you grow up in the 70s and 80s and stuff. It's You know, I'm not saying it's anything great either, but you know,
And
a
it
bit
also
more tough
depends on,
skinned.
yeah, and where you were had a huge effect on that too. Again, it was all indoctrinated into us, but yeah, I mean, I can only imagine, still like I always visualize how it must be in a state where, they had separate water fountains and stuff. Like I would be that dude, like the fuck, like drinking
Yeah.
out of the white dude. Like I would have a hard time back then because look at me. They'd be like, do we need a brown water fountain? Like, what do we do? We need to bring this up to the freaking principal. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
it's it's really funny because when I went to the States when I was about 15, right, and we went all the way to Florida, and I've been back a few times since as an adult, but I couldn't believe the division, like the whole race thing, and like I mean, Australia only has a population of what 25 million, or I don't know what we're at now, but we're all, we're not overcrowded. We don't except for the cities, but there's no divisions. There's still ethnic pockets like the Italians, Italians like Brooklyn, and we have Italians, we've got Lebanese in one end, we've got Vietnamese, Asian, depending on the Asian, because not all Asians get along. And then now we have the Africans coming through, from the refugees and stuff. But there's no, like your history. I mean, there's bad history on Australians' part, but it hasn't leaked to that level that some of your states have, especially in the South. So when I went to New Orleans or even Florida, right down at like Tampa, I was like, whoa, like there's full blown neighborhoods where they say, don't go in there. And I'm like, and I never really, I had just a couple experiences in New Orleans. Like I was with my boyfriend at the time and we drove to this gas station off an exit in a freeway. And I always think that's always like the cartoons or the movies where you get off the wrong exit. And we're just fueling up and all these guys started coming up and, they thought we were Mexicans. And I was scared. I was scared. Like, fuck, I said, and I had to throw my Aussie accent to say that I was a tourist just to throw them off. Like,
let go.
You know what I mean? And just to think, oh yeah, almost, I was going to say I was going to be a Japanese tourist either, but I'm just saying, oh look, sorry mate, like we're out of here, but I thought, fucking hell, but I don't know, it's just really weird. And just the difference, the social differences as well, like from the rich and the poor, especially in the South, right? I didn't see much when I was in, San Jose and all of them, but maybe that's because it's a rich city or something, I don't know. But the South has definitely have the undercurrent.
Closest I've been to New Orleans is New Orleans Square, Disneyland. But like that, they do a good job of capturing the sound, the food, yeah. It just makes me want more of it. I want to go on like a ferry boat ride and, dance and whatever it is they do. I just love, that's what's cool about Disney movies. And it's like they capture every culture. And it's like you whisk away to that lifestyle and you learn about, because that's the thing. It's, as bad as they are, there's a lot of good in it. And it usually goes with the folklore or legends of that continent or country that they're, and it's a beautiful way to get the story across,
But one thing I noticed as well, if you look at European or, European children's movies and shows, or the Spanish ones as well, very different tone, more mature and more intellect in their children's movies. Have you noticed that? Whereas Disney and Pixar really dumb it down. And I always try to get I'm glad my younger one now can start reading subtitles, because then that opens her up to watch French animation or Spanish animation or movies and stuff. Their storylines, like Monsters in Paris, that's a good movie. It's dark, but it's a good movie. Have you seen that one?
I have not seen that, no.
Yeah, it's about this bug who becomes an opera singer or has a voice, and it had some sort of species alien thing about it, but it was actually a good movie.
I haven't seen too many like foreign films, or the only thing I've really watched that's like different language is like I watch Passions of the Christ. I try to watch that at least once a year.
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ, like it's all subtitled. It's all in
A make, not Latin.
Whatever the original
Yeah.
language was back, they refer to him as Yeshua and whatnot.
Yeah,
And it's all in, subtitles, but it's such a good gripping movie that like 2-3 minutes into it, you don't even realize you're reading. It's just, you almost hear them speaking English, even though you're not, just as, at least for me, because I get so into it and reading it, it's like you're just that much more involved in the story. And like Pan's Labyrinth was another one, just because of the hoopla behind it. And to be honest, it wasn't as, I feel like the dubbing and stuff, it makes it difficult to still be scary. Like, of course, this main scene with the frickin' is terrifying, but it's like, that's why you go to see it. And then when it's over, it's like I can't get the psychological horror aspect of it by reading and hearing Spanish. But like I remember going through, like, when Ring was all popular in The Grudge, like watching Ringu and whatever the other Grudge was, and those are ones where it's like I absolutely appreciate them, because
the Japanese one we're talking about, not the American remake bullshit.
Right. Yeah, the Japanese ones, I appreciate them, and I supported them.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the Ring, when that shit came out,
oh my god,
being a horror buff, okay,
I shitted myself. So
the Ring, when it came out at a time where there was nothing but really bad horror movies. There wasn't, like, they were always funny or stupid.
Like Saw. I never got into Saw. Is that that was after?
I like Saw. Same thing. I feel like that came at a time where it was very desperately needed, because horror sucked, man. Horror sucked in that era. And then I remember Ring came out, and I was
Ring
like,
was good.
These guys know what's up. Then
and
they're
the
like,
Koreans, they do it well too.
They copied Asian film, and like, of course they did, but they did a really good job.
Yeah.
To where when I watched Ringu, I'm like, okay, like, I was not scared nearly as bad, but they totally took the story, but they gave them credit for it. It was the American version of Ringu, so it's like, that's what it's all about. And dude, no, that movie was absolutely terrifying. And
you know who's good now in America? What's that director? He did Doppelganger and all them.
Who is it?
I think he's a black director. And is it called Doppelganger? Oh shit! What was the name? It's like it was a black family, and then there was a replicas that were made and tried to take over them. What's that movie?
Us,
is it? Why am I thinking
Us with the clones under the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, the comedian, what's his name?
He's good.
They have a sketch show. Him and his buddy have a sketch show. Key and Peele. What is it? Is it Keegan Allen Key or something?
I don't know. But they've done 3 movies now, haven't they? They've done Us. They've done another one.
Get Out is dope. Get Out is about mind control and what I think is going on.
Yeah. I remember that.
He did Annabellum or something. I didn't.
Yeah. I'll talk the Korean director. The Korean director who won awards because it was Asian, for Asian Oscars all of a sudden. Remember that year? I think pre-COVID, or maybe it was a COVID year. Let's make all the Asian actors and directors become winners, right? Yeah. What was that Korean movie? That was a good movie too. It was a thriller though. Oh, what's the name? Oh, my brain. I'm so bad with names. They're in the house. They're locked in the house. They were hustlers. Have you seen that one? They won an award during that Asian year. But it was actually a good film.
I don't know. You say it, I would know.
So basically, there was this rich family, there was this poor family. One of them got a job, I think, tutoring, and somehow they hustled their way that they ended up becoming the other family, like taking their identity away. And and it was kind of funny, but that's another one. I'll have to probably write and comment it down below. What movie?
There's always got to be a comic relief element to every movie, but I hate when a horror movie is like a comedy. It's like when you go to a rom-com, you're going to get a healthy bit of both romance and comedy.
Mhm.
But it's like, I didn't come to a freaking horror com, like it's a freaking movie about decapitating bodies. I don't want to go to a comedy or like make it, I don't know. It's just,
That's why I don't like Saw. That's why I couldn't watch Saw, because it's all horrible.
Well, not to do. It's called Saw. It better have some severing of something. If it's called
Fright Night wasn't very scary.
What was it?
Fright Night.
Fright Night. Well, yeah, it's called Fright Night. Like,
actually,
it sounds scary.
This is what I was trying to get to. I remember when I first watched Exorcist, right? Do you remember Exorcist? Yeah.
Yeah, of
Linda
course.
Blair.
Yeah.
Now that scared the shit out of me when I was younger, and being a Catholic girl, everything was just so bad.
It's real. It's real.
And and then no, hang on, and then they did that reboot, 20 years anniversary or whatever, and they put it in cinemas again. They go, oh, all right, I'm going to watch it again as an adult and see how it was. And then there was a whole generation of millennials or whatever in the audience. They were laughing the whole time. They thought it was so funny. And I'm like, I'm just eating my popcorn going, fuck, they're not even scared. They think it's hilarious of this. And then when you look at it, you think, yeah, it is kind of funny.
Over
the top shit. It was funny. And because they don't believe in religion anymore. They don't believe in the crucifix, none of that.
That's
when they thought it was funny.
Yeah, and that's if they understood that it is literally based on a true story. And when they say based on, all they're saying is that she might not look exactly like that, but all of those scenes happened. They happened. And that's the best way that they could portray it, using strings and makeup. But how do you reproduce a girl masturbating with a crucifix? You can't. They did a pretty good job, if you ask me. And you know what I mean? And that's the thing. You can't touch The Exorcist. If someone tried to touch The Exorcist now, and they tried to reproduce those scenes, they wouldn't be able to do what they wanted to do.
No.
And that's my frustration, because it's like Passions of the Christ. Like, they tried everything to keep that movie. That's as close to a horror movie that is not a horror movie that anyone would ever witness, because of the trauma and the torture, and it's terrifying because it's real. And it would be considered snuff if you had a horror movie with that kind of visual effects. You know what I mean? So I know where there's that line. It's like, you know what I mean? You draw a line where it's straight snuff film. You know, you can't do that. Mm-hmm. So I get it. But that's where it's like, so movies like Saw push the boundaries, and they do have, there's always I think it's cheesy now. Like, I watched that Spiral movie and I was like, it's getting just like Austin Powers. The formula is dying. You need to put the horse down, come up with the same but different. But it's on to, like, Jigsaw's dead, dude. Like, come on. Like still planning shit, and he's been dead for 30 years. Like, come on.
There was another guy. Well, no, he wasn't horror. He was actually funny. See, you're talking about comedy, right? Like Train to Busan, for me, I loved. But that's not your horror, isn't it? Have you seen that one?
What is it?
Train to Busan. It's the zombie movie.
No, I do. I want to see it. See, I
you have not seen it.
But no, I haven't, and I've heard it's amazing, and I want to see it.
Mate, the Koreans, they know this. Oh, love it.
Like all for it. Like 48 days later, or 28 days, whatever. That shit
28 days, yep.
So a lot of the George Romero's, yes, but there's so many zombie movies and shows that yes, there are certain gems, and I want to watch that one really bad. I heard it's really good.
Now that I've pumped it up and everyone has, you probably think it's shit, because that's what happens.
No, because like I said, I still love me some Day of the Dead, some Night of the Living. When I'm in the mood for that, I want to watch that, and in the black and white, and then it's just that it adds that creepiness to. If it's in HD and in color, it wouldn't have the effect,
Okay, so that reminds me, that goes back to my one of these old zombie, real poor, low production, horror films. Oh, I can't remember. He did Bad Taste. It was back in the 80s. late 80s or 90s, and he was a New Zealand director, or was it an Aussie? I can't remember. And it was just like a Toxic Avenger type of thing, and people's heads getting blown. It's so poor production stuff. You'd love it. I'm gonna send you that one too. That he did a few movies, and it's
not many people know Toxic Crusader. Like,
yeah.
You gotta understand that. Did you guys have Blockbuster Video out there?
Yeah. Well, back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. So I was the kid that's seen every VHS in the horror section 3 or 4 times over. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't do 3 or 4 times, but
well, it's like that was my section, and of course the family, we got the new releases and the action flicks, but me, I was always like, can I get fucking Troll for the 5th time? Can I get Poltergeist 1, 2, and 3?
As long as it's a weekly and not a daily.
Yeah, and then my older sister was into it too, so I was like, Tip, let's have like a Poltergeist marathon, all right. And we totally, so
hey, speaking of Poltergeist, I actually predicted her death back in the day. Yeah. Fuck, it was scary. It was my friend's 12th birthday, and they were bringing out the cake, her birthday cake, and I actually did the voice of the little girl going, "They're here," and everyone was spooked out and saying, "Oh shit, Joe, shut up, you're freaking me out," because I used to come up with all sorts of stuff.
Her name is Joanne, right?
She died right that moment. Caroline. She died.
Yeah, Caroline, that's right.
Yeah, that little girl. I'm like, holy shit. Dude, that was when I started thinking, oh my God, maybe there is something up there, because I've been saying these things.
Did you get like why? Because that's like a mystery. They're saying she's like one of those supposed like victims of child trafficking. Yeah. So what did you pick up? Just that?
It was just that they were bringing in the cake, and it was just me being funny, and I just imitated her voice. And I mean, I just saw the vision that girl at that point in time, and all my kids at the party were freaking out. They were oh, shut up, Joe, you're scaring me, because that was the movie at the time or whatever. And it's funny because to this day they remembered me saying that, and it was then it was announced that she died, and I didn't get anything more, because I was a kid, because even growing up, I would just say things and predict as a joke. Like if I had to sit down and predict, it wouldn't, I'd be saying it like just through talking. Like recently, I talked about a particular cricket player, right? He died today, and I'm freaking out about it because he was in my conversation 24 hours ago, 48 hours. I don't know if do you know much about cricket? Well, probably not, but there's this guy called Shane Warne.
Does, but not me. Yeah.
Shane Warne, he dated Elizabeth Hurley, right? He was this cricket player, blonde boy, blue-eyed. He was a real rat bag in terms of he was known to be a, womanizer and stuff like that, and then went out with Liz Hurley, who helped him, boost his. Yeah. And he died at 52 just yesterday, and he came into my focus in the last 24 hours, and then my friend said, oh, guess what, another one who died from probably took the the thing, and then because he was 52, but he had a heart attack in Koh Samui, Thailand, with his mates. So what would have been happening is that he was partying hard with the chicks and drugs and whatever, possibly, I'm not saying that it was, but then he had a heart attack at 52 and they couldn't revive him, and he's gone. And I'm thinking, shit, I just spoke about him in that way because this other famous cricket player passed away. Yeah. And then he came up, because, that's another story probably, because he was in Koh Samui. So. Wow. Anyway, back at the ranch. So,
dude, yeah.
Do you get that? Do you have these flash things and it actually happens, or?
I do, but I didn't it's only until recently that I noticed that it's interconnected. For a long time, I always just been like, interesting, but it's like, no, it's not coincidence now, and I know that now. So now when something, it's like, whoa, wait, whoa, and it's like. If you could see it, there'd be numbers and letters, and and then it's like, and I'm like, oh shit, and then I feel my brain grow 3 sizes that day.
It's amazing. Like the first thing people notice is the time on the clock, the 11:11 and all that. and then everyone sees it more.
Whole another level for me. I mean, what is it right now? 9:55. So 9 completion, 55. Like that, anyone else would just see 9:55.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like, no.
Well, mine's 15:55. 15:55. So 1 and 2. Yeah, it depends on where you are. Like, I don't know, because I mean, I do dabble in numerology and stuff like that, but there's a lot more to it. Tom Numbers. Do you watch Tom Numbers?
Yeah, like they're like way more advanced, but I get lost in it because they're so in tune with it. But I pick up intuitively like they do when they're like, oh, and then that's 135, and that's like, I don't know the numbers, but that's how I connect other things that aren't just numbers. And then when I look at numbers, I connect them to whatever else. Now knowing tarot, I'm like, oh shit, blah blah. It'll be like, 117, and although that could be 18, I'll look at it as like an ace because I might have been asking a question, and then 17 is Q, and it's like Q saying yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could do all that, but knowing me, because I love maths, and sometimes when I watch him, I thought I got to slow it down. I'm going, okay, right, what was that word? And I'm like, yep, okay, right, start calculating it myself to just prove if you got the number.
I was there. Yeah, I was there at a point, and that I get it.
I'm like, hang on a sec. I'm going to double. I'm going to fact check that one. I'm going to count the numbers. I'm like, that's too fast.
When there are certain words or phrases or something that does pop up, dude, I'm on that geometric calculator. I don't do it anymore on the paper. I used to. I had like pages. There's a geometric. No, it's a website, and it's just it's like a database, and you just type in the word name. I'll do first name, then I'll do last name, then I'll do first and last name or whatever.
We used to do that as a kid. Did you used to do that as a kid when, Joe loves, whatever, and then you do the crossing, and then you get how many percentage.
I never knew that. Each other. But I remember the girls doing that. Who they're gonna marry.
Flames. It was called Flames. Friendship, lovers, admirers, marriage. Engagement, and shit, was it sex?
Yeah, and see, girls, I always wonder, like, what are they pulling on me? Are they pulling on me? And they probably were. And it's like, women, if you would just communicate with us men who you are just in, you'd save a lot of us a lot of trouble.
When you crush it on someone so badly, and you got friendship up, and they go, hang on a sec, that's bullshit. Friendship, I don't want friendship. Oh, we're getting married. So that's like my
you like unfold it.
How do you spell?
Looking at all the girls.
Gematria. Is it G-E?
I always spell it wrong, but I open up Google Chrome and I put Gematria, and it's like the first or second. It's like Gematrix, or it says like the world's best gematria calculator, and there's like a database of stuff in there. So a lot of the ones that Tom Numbers and all them reference, like, oh, that's JFK, that's blah blah blah, like they show up in there. And then there's a bunch of crazy ones, and it's simple, like basic gematria, like Jewish gematria, Egyptian gematria. I don't know. There's like a bunch on there, and just scroll down, and I just kind of read through there and pick up stuff and it's crazy because there'll be things that are only I know because of something that occurred or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
this is
not
cool.
for anyone else. It's a whole nother. And just wait, like I mentioned the gene keys earlier. The gene keys. Are you ready for the gene keys? Even when I found out about gene keys, I listened to this guy in a meditation thing. This guy's name was Peter Tongue.
Yeah.
And he mentions the gene keys. And then that's like his thing, but he does like meditations and clearing. And it's so like that, like planted the seeds. And then like, I was like, oh, I got to look that up one time.
Yeah.
Because it sounded kind of horoscopy, like you get your chart or whatever. It's not a chart. It's a holographic, I forget what it's called, but you put in your date of birth, where you were born, time of day if you can, and we all have a genetic imprint, blueprint of who we are. And what's crazy, gene keys, man. So I heard this Peter Tongue guy, whatever, and then I was like, I need to look that up, and then it was in the back of my mind. Never did though. then my son got all into Scooby-Doo, and then it was like I was getting all the Scooby-Doo stuff, and then
I love Scooby-Doo.
I was listening to something like later, and then I heard Gene Keys. It made me think Gene Keys, and I was like, oh, that's funny. And then something else came up again where it was like Gene Keys, and then I heard another meditation by that Peter Tung dude talking about Gene Keys. I was like, okay, I need to freaking look up these Gene Keys. So I look up genekeys.com. And this guy, so you put in your birth shit, right? And then it's like, Joe, like it's crazy. Like, so I'm looking at my stuff, my Gene Key holographic chart, whatever.
I'm going to write down genekeys.com.
Yes, genekeys.com. Please just do it. Like, I want to, do they have an affiliate link over there, Gene Keys? Because sign me up. I am fully on board to promote the Gene Keys. The Gene Keys is like the never ending story. That, like I said, you get to that page and you're like, oh shit, I'm writing the story, right? So the Gene Keys chart thing tells you who you are. It's like it knows you more than you know yourself, and you're like, oh crap, that's me. These are my strengths. These are my weaknesses. This is what I need to work through. These are my shadows. This is my.
Hang on, this sounds like just an astro chart, like, you know.
Kinda, but it's.
I'm going to try it. I want to compare
it as one more synchronicity that this is all connected spiritually, astrologically, genetically, fucking universally. We are one, right? And so I'm all gigging on this website. I'm thinking about buying the course and buying the book, and there's like a Gene Keys thing for love, Gene Keys thing for career, right?
Don't buy it till I go through it, okay?
No, I'm not gonna. That's the thing. Everything's divine. So I have Audible. I have things stacking up. The Gene Keys is like, there's a book, and I'm like, okay, is it on Audible? And you know what I mean? So I look it up. It's on Audible. I'm like, I put it in the thing. It was like a 35-hour audio, right? And I'm like, whatever. I'm so gigging on this right now. When I was going on my walks, I was always listening to like promotional, like Zig Ziglar, like, you know, motivation, money management, just trying to improve myself all the time. And I was like, all right, I'll check out this Gene Key shit. And oh my God, it's like, you want to kickstart whatever your journey is, your ascension. You want to see shit in 5D. This is like the first door. This is like in Willy Wonka when he crams everyone into that room and it looks like it gets smaller, and then everyone's like, what's wrong with this room? What's up with this room? And he's like, oh, just be patient. And he opens the door and you crawl through, and then it's like the little door that you crawl in on your hands and knees, and then next thing you know, you're in the land of Wonka, is like the Gene Keys. As you're listening to it, it's like, for those who don't know about the signs all around us in the universe and how that works, the Gene Keys like grabs you and you're like, okay. And as you're reading it, it's unfolding, and it's like what you're listening to now, you're supposed to hear in this moment right now. And it's at your own pace. And that's the thing. It's like, you're that kid in Never Ending Story where you're like, I need to get back to reality. And then you're like, well, it's storming, the door's locked. Fuck it. I might as well light a candle, eat this apple, and keep reading. And it's like,
can I just stop you there? I've been thinking about stop.
Yes.
Shut up. The Willy Wonka's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? Not Willy Wonka, the Michael Jackson one.
No, that's garbage. Yes.
No. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Thank you for correcting me.
I've been the last few days now. All right, this could be a synchronicity. The last few days, that movie, certain scenes have been popping up, right? So the last one was what's her name? Who had the blueberry? What's her name? What's her name? I'm so bad. Velvet.
Whatever you're talking about, the
Velvet, and she became a balloon. That was the last vision that I had, and I was referring to someone about it having this blueberry stuff, and you'll end up as a ball of. But there's been other bits of that scene, so I'm curious now about this Willy Wonka movie, how it's because I think the other week people were talking about the Wizard of Oz. I've been hearing a lot about Wizard of Oz and stuff, and I think I might have used it in my
Oz is my life.
And now this one's Willy Wonka this week, so I'm going to.
So Wonka is another one that is quite literally, I feel like a journey I'm going through. In the Wonka, I am Charlie. Not that I come from a poor family or whatever, but I feel that I deserve, not out of greed, but I feel like I deserve the chocolate factory. And I'm constantly being given gobstoppers, and I'm constantly got this dude like, let me know when you get the gobstopper and I will give you $12 million and you can start your own chocolate factory. And I'm like, dude, but at the same time, as I am in awe and watching everyone greedily diving into the fucking chocolate river and wanting to get, I want it all, Dottie, and I want it now. And Charlie's just like, but grandpa,
Hey, Joseph and Josephine, mate. I was so wrapped. There was a grandma Josephine in there. I was so wrapped because somebody finally got my name.
That's what's up, and that's not I forget the original story, but from what I know, I was supposed to be named Charles Gunther, Chuck, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. So, but no, so it's like, no, I'm being tested, and I am. I'm like, I refuse to give the gobstopper that fool. And what's funny is I was just thinking about this literally today when I was walking. I was like, and this comes every now and then. I think about this because I think if y'all are listening, Wonka, you can make a lot of money off of this. Why? It's always bothered me. Why don't they just have an actual everlasting gobstopper? It can not last forever, but why doesn't it look like the fucking gobstopper in the goddamn movie? When think about it with me, Joe, for a second. Like, you could buy a big ass box of gobstoppers. They're jawbreakers, people. It's a jawbreaker
because they choke.
Yeah, and they're you'll choke on a gobstopper, a real gobstopper. Those gobstoppers, you wouldn't choke. And you could buy Joro. You could buy a Hershey Kiss that's the size of your head. You could buy a peanut butter egg that you need a fork and a knife to open. Why can't they? And think about it. They can market the shit out of a Willy Wonka everlasting gobstopper in a box, life size, different flavors. It could be an actual candy, and they could charge like $8 for it because it's a movie replica. And there's gonna be people like myself that will never open it because it's gonna be worth $20 in the future.
In the box.
It's never
collecting mold.
Yeah. You could even have like send in 5 UPCs and we'll give you this freaking digital download of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, now people are going to want to buy 5 and 1 more to collect, send in the UPCs for you to get a link to a video that they've owned the rights to, that they've sold to you 1 million times. And now they got 5 more sales of gobstoppers, even though it's everlasting. I would buy the shit out of those. It'd be like in my survival pack of all the world is ending. Well, I got my everlasting gobstopper. That'll last.
Gobstoppers kind of look like a Merkaba, a colorful Merkaba.
Yeah, it does. It's fascinating. It's cheap. That's why I'm like, you could totally do that. I could make my own. I could make the mold of the thing and then make a round one for the center and then glue them on with sugar, water. Like, just save me the effort. Make me an official. They have Wonka bars. They've got.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like, you're welcome, Wonka, when that comes out. Give me credit. I just want the credit. Royalties would be nice, but I just want the credit. I would buy the shit out of that. You could sell them at GameStop next to the plush freaking Willy Wonka dolls. Like, come on. I'd buy the shit out of that. People buy disgusting Cadbury cream eggs, which I used to love, and they changed the formula. I don't know what they did, but there's something that's different.
You Americans, you Americans, different chocolate. Australians have completely different taste. I think it's the cows. It must be the cow milk, because you know, you go to Switzerland and that they've got the best chocolate, right? And then Australian chocolate's very different. Even your potato chips, your chips or crisp. I don't know. Do you call it crisp or potato chips? We call it chips.
Yeah, chips.
Yeah. Different potato. Yours is like it feels a lot harder. I don't know. Maybe it's the brand.
I like the kettle cooked, crunchy, freaking thick with the skin on it still. I love that.
Oh, you like that? See,
I love that.
They sell it here, but a lot of people prefer it not as thick as that.
Crunchy, yeah.
I
love when I go to a place that has like homemade chips like on their menu, like with like fish tacos or something. I love that. I always order it. So fun. I like making my own chips. I make my own fries. I love to cook. I have a lot of my own recipes and whatnot that I've thrown together.
I was going to ask you, in your state, do they discriminate if you eat in at a restaurant? Do you have to show a certificate or anything like that?
No, and you know, it's hard.
Where are you?
I'm in Arizona,
okay.
So it's pretty lenient here. Even though they still, now I've noticed they've been finally, like in the last week, like gas stations and everything, like it's the employee's choice if they want to wear masks. But up until now, it's been like just the workers at the stores, and there's a lot. It's kind of sad. There's still a lot of people wearing masks. Yeah, but there are a lot not too. So it's refreshing. I think this is the last straw. Once people see that the employees and stuff don't need to wear them, they're gonna probably finally start like, well, if they don't have to wear it, why am I wearing it? Yeah. No, they've just recently, But it is what it is, and I don't discriminate whether you have a mask or not. Like, if you're driving around in your car by yourself, not delivering medicine to someone who is immune compromised, that's the only thing I could even possibly fathom to be logical. I will probably send you the messages telepathically that you're a fucking idiot, but I don't judge you. There's a reason why.
But I don't judge you.
They're doing the trick work on you.
Yeah. Oh man,
Lord, for they know not what they do. But yeah, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. I hope your window's at least cracked, because you are double suffocating yourself.
At my daughter's swimming, she went for a swimming lesson, right? You know, the indoor pools are what? I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but it's around about 28, 30 degrees Celsius in indoor pool.
Right.
So we no longer have to wear masks in the pool, right? Because indoor venues now can have it. So that weekend where you're allowed to, about 50% were still wearing it. And today there was still probably 30% who were wearing masks. In that, like, it's humid. It's humid already because we've got floods everywhere at the moment. But oh my God, like, how could you breathe? How could you breathe? I mean, I'd be passing out.
Is it like the clear shield?
No, we're wearing masks. Like, people are wearing masks in the pool. And you know what's funnier? This is funny, right? One of the swimming instructors.
You're sitting in a, like, I understand, like, you put enough chlorine in something, it'll kill it. But it's
no. I'm talking about people, not swimming in. I'm talking about the parents watching. The parents outside watching, wearing the kids. No, you don't want swimming with the mask.
No, because I mean, my son goes to swim class and they have a shield.
Yes, I was going to say that. This is one of the instructors
in a pool.
He has a shield, or the teacher. The teacher having the shield.
Right. Yeah.
No, there was one teacher in the pool. She was an older lady. And then she had one of those that came up to here. Like, it was just like a perspex. I don't know. I thought, you're kidding me. Like, I don't know. But anyway, it's just nuts.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and also, probably there was a time when we didn't have a lockdown and we went to the beach, like during the summer, like our summer, we're just finishing summer now. We're on the beach. Everyone was so happy to have that freedom. No one was wearing masks. And then, like, going past the Lifesavers building, there was this sort of young, to me, they're probably teenagers or 20-year-olds or something, young, fit men, right? They're fit. They're wearing it on walking down to the beach. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? You guys, you weren't even. No, they were young, fit men wearing masks going to the beach.
They're conscious of health and all that. Yeah, I get it. If you're going to the beach, all fit, probably had your protein shake, all shooken up, like basics of health, people. Never mind getting yoked up. Like, learn about how your body works. You know, like, especially those who get yoked. Like, I hope they understand how yokeness works, why it's called getting ripped. Like, those who know, but it's like you're ripping your muscle tissue. Like, that's why you get swollen, because your muscles are swelling from them being ripped apart and destroyed. And so they deform into this big, you know, like instead of like a fit or cut tone where it's like you're strengthening the muscles, not damaging. You know, as long as you're aware of that, that's what when you're P90Xing it, I can see my fucking wings now. Well, hopefully no one punches you in the wings while you're recovering from the swollenness. And that's why they have to work on legs today. And that's why I have to do arms tomorrow, because your fucking leg muscles are all ripped up and split ends and they're still trying to heal. So yeah, go rip up your arms, bro. But it's like, you know, not like anything against that, because again, like, I get it. Like,
look, hey, when I was in my 20s, you know, showing my age, when I was in my 20s, Linda Evangelista, yeah, same with Linda. Linda Hamilton was my idol. Like, when she, remember how she was all ripped and everything with Terminator 2? Oh my God, she was like, whoa, I want her body now. And I was going to the gym every freaking night, boozing up though afterwards, like drinking and smoking. But I just had to have that body. And I was oh mate, I used to love, well, I put the pin to a heavier weight, right? And then the next guy comes along, he gets all embarrassed, he looks around if I'm there, and then he quickly puts the pin up.
That's why I hate gyms. That's why I hate gyms. I've got everything I need in my house for the most part to not have to pay a gym membership, and that's because I've done both.
Yeah, you go there to pick up.
Yeah, there's certain, I mean, from weight training and stuff, it's like you know what works.
Hormones, mate. It's all about hormones.
I mean, yes, but it's like there's no excuse. Like, I have, like, if I was gonna go lift weights, like, I have free weights and I have a V-bar curl, which the only thing I can't really do for lifting weights is like bench press. But if they have a bench for the V-bar. So if I had a little more space, there'd literally be no excuse to do all the exercises. And it's like all these machines and stuff, like, just do for abs, like, dude, do sit-ups, you know, and that's coming from someone who I haven't done sit-ups in a while now. That's probably a good time to start since I've lost a lot of the belly fat. But when I was like starting my health journey a couple years ago, which has always been like this, there's like this on my walk, there's this like crunch machine, right? Like my neighborhood has like all these little workout machines for doing dips and stuff like that, ladders and whatnot. And right by my house, there's this sit up crunch bit, like an inclined one too. So you're like extra crunch, right? And when I was going on my walks, every time I'd walk by it, I'm like, I should try it. But I was all scared, you know, still overweight, never really was good at sit-ups, but always wanted to work on my midsection. So one day I said, screw it. Let me see how many I can do. And I couldn't do 3. And I was like, whatever, at least I tried, you know, like, and then the next day I tried again and I did 5. And then the next day I did like 5 again, and it wasn't as bad. And then I did 9, literally like couldn't do 3 sit-ups within about 4 or 5 months. And it's weird because, I mean, it doesn't really burn body fat or anything, but I was feeling my freaking 6-pack underneath my belly fat. And I'm like, ooh, it's in there. And like, now I was at the point, like, one of my neighbors that I would see regularly he walked by when I was full on, like, and he's like, how many of those do you do? I'm like, oh, well, I make it a point to walk by it 3 times on my walk. And each time I walked by, it got to the point where I was doing 3 sets of 33. And then on my last set, I would do 34. So I'd have 100. I went from not being able to do 3 to doing 100. And I was still like, I could do more, but I was like, I'd be there doing sit-ups all day. So I just kept going. And it was like, that was when I was really starting to drop a lot of weight, and really just from walking. Like, I don't do anything.
Did you have a beer after that?
No, back then I didn't really drink at all. Really, like
no, I'm just shitting
you.
I'm doing 100 sit-ups and I'll have a beer.
No, yeah, but no, seriously though, like it's funny because alcohol, until recently, like I've kind of learned to appreciate it. We talked pounding 40s, like. Yeah. Now I appreciate it. I enjoy it. I feel like it is. It's not like I only do it on social occasions or no, like I legit, like it is like it's a time of celebration, when the time and a place. Yeah. But no, I enjoy a beverage now. It was funny when I ended up in San Diego, my sister was letting me crash her pad. I woke up that morning and I can't believe the crap I just went through. You kind of know the story. I opened her fridge and she's like, you want me to make you breakfast? Like, what do you want? I'm like, no, I'm good. And I'm looking in the fridge and my brother-in-law had like some like IPAs and stuff on the bottom. And I mean, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Hang on. What's an IPA?
Really strong hoppy beer.
All right. Okay. Yep.
It's like the fat out here now. Everyone, it's like instead of killing light beer, the cheapest beer, everyone likes expensive hoppy.
Yeah. The boutique beers. Yeah.
Yeah, and which is like a normal thing, I believe, out where you guys are at.
Our beers, we don't need that. Your beers are pretty weak, really.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's like Guinness, that whole thing. And so you had a couple IPAs in the bottom of the show.
Yeah.
I want a fucking beer right now. For some reason, it sounded good. He had a longboard IPA. I picked it, I cracked it open, and I'm just like looking at, what do I want for breakfast? And it was like, for the first time in my life, I think, other than being hungover, like I need a beer because I'm hungover to get rid of the hangover. I was like enjoying the beer, enjoying the flavor. I never really liked the flavor of beer, and that's why I drink Newcastle and whatnot, is because it has more flavor than just some piss. What, you don't like Newcastle?
You're talking about Newcastle, our beer?
Yeah, I love a Newcastle.
No, I'm a Victorian. Sorry, no, that's New South. That's the other state. That's
whatever, man.
Sorry.
I'm better with geography too. I'm better with geometry than geography. Like I just.
No, I'm just shitting you. There's always this thing about Victorian beer versus New South Welshman, and then you got the South Australian beers and all that stuff. But anyway,
I don't. That's why. I mean, I'm not like an entrepreneur or like a connoisseur of spirits. Like I like wine. I appreciate the difference between a good wine and a bad wine, but I don't know the difference. But if
are you a red or a white?
I don't like white wine. I don't like white wine. I like red wine of all sorts. Low cab, Chardonnay, or not Chardonnay, but
Shiraz.
Like anything, like even the sweet stuff. I don't mind sweet stuff or sangria. It's fun. Yeah, it just doesn't. I do like to get a buzz. So if I find a nice, good, strong wine. Like whatever, if it gets the job done.
Put it in the fridge?
Like no. I try to consume it within a good amount of time. So
just checking.
No, but I mean, growing up, like around Thanksgiving, like I know my family always had like some Manischewitz in the fridge because my grandma loved to have a glass with her turkey dinner. But so, and like, I mean, as a kid, I don't want my parents to get looked at differently, but as a little kid, it was like we'd be able to have a little cup of it. It was like grape juice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I've always liked wine. And again, it's from grapes. Like I look at it, it's like vodka.
Is it local wine? Sorry, is it your local wine or do you buy overseas wine?
I don't have a preference. I just look for something that's in the $10 to $20 range. I
like wine. I have appreciation of wine as long as it's cheap fucking wine.
No, like if I go to like a restaurant and it's like, it's like $30 for a glass of wine. And it's like, hey, when in Rome, and it's like you taste it and you look for the legs and you smell it. I don't know. Like it's like when I play golf, like. If anyone who is like takes golf seriously, is like I appreciate the sport. I never cared for golf until I was thrown out on the golf course when I was like 22 years old for
I love golf. Yeah.
For bachelor party thing, and I caught the bug like you wouldn't believe. Next thing you know, I'm like buying clubs and hitting the driving range. I caught the bug bad, and I am by no means a good golfer, but I like to know where I stand. I like to play the game for real. But when I'm out there, I'm like wearing this shit, and everyone's looking at me weird. So you have to have a polo shirt. I'm like, well, I'll go fucking golf somewhere else. How about that? And they're usually pretty cool. But as soon as I get out on the tee, I'm like got AC playing on the phone. And back then there was I had like a speaker plugged into my phone, and it's like iPad, and people are like, what, dude? And I'm like, yeah, man. And it's like, I'm out there, it's like, it's like it changes it up, and it's like I love it. And you're out there in nature and smoking cigars, and there's a lady that drives up and is like, you want to buy beer? And you're like, yes, I do. Like,
we don't have that. We can't consume alcohol. We have to go back to the clubhouse if we want to consume.
We have cute girls that drive around in vehicles that contain ice cold beverages and smokes and candy and chips, and you're like, yeah, I'll take a Funyuns, a Sculpin, and a Red Bull, and can you come back around in like 3 holes? Oh yeah, sure, sweet. It's like some courses, but most you can, and it's like, fuck yeah.
Unbelievable. Really? Oh my God. What's just so next level? It is so next level. I mean, do you leave rubbish everywhere when you finish with the food? Like,
no, and that's the thing. Like, it's like there's still etiquette, like I'm not trying to, like some people, because we are so like, hey man, let's go spark this up over. I'm looking for my ball, sir. And they're like waiting for you to play. You're like, I just tell them, play through. I let them play through. Yeah. Then once they get down to the green, it's like, all right. And, in the meantime, what? You're listening to more Zep and light another spliff. It's like, I'm out here for the good time. Like, I want my money's worth. If it takes me fucking 6 hours to finish these 18 holes, so be it. Like, I'm playing score, I'm playing and counting my drop balls and out of bounds. So leave me alone. And
I prefer the driving range. I just prefer the driving range because you just whack the ball, just whack, and then you try to aim at the person collecting it. That's for me. That's like straight shooter stuff, isn't it? Like,
absolutely, it's awesome. The problem I always make is I hit the driving range before playing, and then you get to like the 9th hole, and you're like, oh my God, like my hands are like rubber bands. But there's just something about, and this is the thing that I never really, because I didn't know, because I just. Golf to me was like that sport that was always on TV when I just want to watch cartoons, and it's like all there is golf and Planet of the Apes. Where's the, there's nothing else on. So, and I never chose golf. So it was like,
you don't watch golf, you play golf. You
play after playing it, I had a different appreciation for it. Watching it, but and then just blown away at how incredible these guys are. And that's the whole thing. It's like there's something about being in this vast, especially that's what's beautiful, is the different courses and stuff and how they're maintained. And you're out in the middle of what's like the most manicured woods you've ever seen, and you're whacking with all of your might a freaking ball this big, and it's going hundreds of yards, and then you find it like in the middle of nowhere, assuming you're good, then you have a lot more control. But me, I'm like, now it's like I'm Indiana Jones in the woods on a golf cart, which is half the fun, by the way.
The golf cart's good.
Half the fun. So all you bougie things where you can't keep the cart on the path, like I'm happy to pay less and off-road the damn cart, finding my ball, because that's half the fun. And then you're like, oh, I found it. And then you're like, whack. And then it's like, dude, you went from a tee that is this big, 500 yards away, and now you're just knocking it in to a, I don't know, what is a 3-inch, 4-inch hole on the complete opposite side. There's just something about that. And like, for me, it's like if I can keep the same ball from when I teed it off to when I put it in, it's a good day for John. So as long as I have enough balls when I hit the course, and I don't even have cleats. Like I have a buddy who goes out there in flip flops, like that's and as long as you're okay with that, and some Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd playing while we're jamming, there might be some Wu-Tang and Bob Marley. I'm just saying, depends on the course and the direction the wind is blowing. It's a good day on the course with John. I feel like it's fun. And
yeah,
I don't know that I always bring that to whatever I'm doing. Like I said, Will Smith, right? I make this look good, man. Like if we're playing golf, I would be Billy Madison out there, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Hey, we've been talking for a while now.